Good morning, everyone. Welcome to a new English speaking class. I hope you're all fine. Don't forget, please, practice makes perfect, so that's the only way to learn English. Keep practicing, stay motivated, and don't hesitate to ask for help whenever you need it.
Hello, James. What are you doing? Aren't you supposed to be in class now? Good morning, teacher. Yeah, but my teacher is late today. I came here to buy something to drink. Oh, I see. Well, I also came here to buy something to eat. I'm in my break. Okay, teacher. Now that we have a little time, I need you to help me with something, please. Sure. I think we have some minutes. What can I do for you, James? Well, I didn't do well on my last exam. In fact, I got one of the lowest grades. I'm surprised. When you were my student, you were one of the best in the class. I'm good at speaking, listening and writing, but I have some issues at grammar, teacher. Yeah, I remember you didn't do well in grammar. You used to make a lot of mistakes. Exactly. I'm still making many mistakes in grammar. Help me, please. No matter what type of work you do, good grammar is relevant for all organizations. And it can make a big difference in your career path. Believe me. I've heard managers complain about employees not knowing how to write a correct English sentence. That's why I will help you telling you the most common grammar mistakes in English. First thing, apostrophes, wrong. We need to get our sales numbers up. Right. We need to get our sales numbers up. That's the correct way. This is an example of the all too frequent attack of the unnecessary apostrophe. People see an S at the end of a word and think, add an apostrophe. Seriously. But often they shouldn't. You use an apostrophe in a contraction. For example, there is, to, theirs, or to show possession. For example, the manager's pet Bobby. You don't use apostrophes if the S is there simply to make a word a plural. Remember that. Another common mistake I usually see is everyday and every day. The wrong way is he starts work every day at 8 a.m. And the right way is he starts work every day at 8 a.m. Every day, one word, no space, as an adjective. Yeah, that's correct. It is an adjective describing something that's very common. Like an everyday occurrence. Every day, with the space, is an adverbial phrase that means each day. A quick test to tell which is right. If you can use a day of the week, say Monday, in the sentence, you should use every day. What I mean is, every day, one word, is an adjective meaning, used or seen daily, or ordinary. One example is, the phone calls were an everyday occurrence. Every day, 2 words, is an adverb phrase meaning daily, or every weekday. For example, they go to the coffee shop every day. I hope you understand with these examples. Another common grammar mistakes is I and me. That's very common. The wrong way. The marketing manager told Riley and I to talk with her. The correct way would be, the marketing manager told Riley and me to talk with her. The general rule: use I when it's the subject of a verb. For example, I walked to the store. Use me when the pronoun is the object of the verb, or when the verb is doing something to someone or something. For example, the dog followed me to the store. Do you get it? If you do, please, I need you to write some examples on the comments. I will correct them all. Another common mistake I have seen very usually is the difference between it's and it's. Wrong. The company just celebrated its 8th year since it went public. The correct way is, the company just celebrated its 8th year since it went public. I have seen a lot of people write it's when they want to show possession. Seriously. But that's the incorrect usage. The problem is we normally do use the apostrophe to show ownership. As I told you before, only use it when you're writing a contraction of it is. That said, it's sometimes hard to understand English and all of its weird rules and exceptions. Another grammar mistake: less and fewer. For example, less than 50 people showed up for the presentation. That's incorrect. Fewer than 50 people showed up for the presentation. That's the correct way. Use fewer for numbered, countable things. 100 fewer purchases. Use less for things that can't be counted at least reasonably. There's less sand at this beach. Also, use less with numbers when they are a single or total unit that measures distance, amount or time. For example, less than 30% of us bothered learning these rules. Also, use less with numbers when they are a single or total unit that measures distance, amount or time. For example, less than 30% of us bothered learning these rules. Another typical grammar mistake is who and whom. I will explain it to you. Who is the subject of a sentence? For example, who will be hosting the party this weekend? Whereas whom is the object of a sentence. Example, to whom should I send the package? Or, whose and whose. It is very simple. Whose is a contraction of who is. For example, who's ready for the exam on Friday? You see, whose is the possessive form of who, a relative pronoun. For example, whose laptop is this? And another common mistake is each and every. I'm sure you also had this problem. It's not difficult. Each indicates 2 or more items, whereas every indicates 3 or more items. Additionally, each refers to the individual items in a group, while every refers to the group as a whole. For example, each of my children made me a Mother's Day card. And Every one of my coworkers is going to the dinner tonight. And we still haven't talked about the difference with between and among. But I have to go now. Yeah, I also have to go to my class. But you have helped me a lot, teacher. Thank you. Yeah, it's a pity. But we can make another video about grammar mistakes if you want.
Dear listeners, I hope you like this conversation. If you cool and improve your English a little more, please subscribe to the channel and share this video with friends. And if you want to support this channel, you can join us or click on the Super Think button. Thanks.
Good morning, teacher. And hello to all our subscribers watching this video. Hello. I am so happy to be here with you and all the students again. We're so happy to have you here. This time, I want you to help us with something important. People have been asking for different ways to practice and improve their English. I am so happy to hear that. It means they really care about improving their English. And of course I will help you with that. We'll focus on speaking, of course. Let's be honest. You cannot claim to be fluent in English if you are not a fluent English speaker. Even if you have memorized the English dictionary, it will not matter if you cannot communicate in English. With that being said, we understand that speaking in English for non-native speakers can be intimidating. So, how do you move from the textbook and the computer screen to actually speaking English? To become a fluent English speaker, you must make every effort to speak English daily and often. Many foreign language students find themselves struggling to find opportunities to practice speaking English. That's why I will help you telling you some ways to practice your English and to improve it. Something students like a lot and sometimes they find it funny are the tongue twisters. Brave souls should try to master popular English tongue twisters. Seriously. These are funny one-sentence poems that involve rhyming and alliteration. Their similar sounds make them difficult to speak, so it is a fun challenge for English learners. Some of them can be difficult to learn and pronounce, but that is the funny part. It can become a challenge. If you know any tongue twister, I ask you to write it on the comments, please. So we can memorize it. Watch TED Talks. This is something I always do. I love it. TED Technology, Entertainment and Design annual event or one of its many satellite events around the world. A TED Talk is a recorded public speaking presentation that was originally given at this event. Subscribe and enjoy watching TED Talks daily. Watching TED Talks will help to develop your concentration, listening skills and help you to build a wide range of vocabulary. The content of TED Talks available covers everything from media studies, business, finance, technology and many more topics. So if you like this kind of topics, I totally recommend you to watch these videos. They're free. Another thing you can do is to listen to audiobooks. Listen to audiobooks in English, of course. This can help to strengthen your listening skills, you can practice learning speech and build valuable skills. To help you create wonderfully language-rich sentences. It's something interesting. Then, you can create a story of your own to practice any new words that you have learned. And talking about creating a story, don't forget to narrate your everyday life. It really works. If it's difficult for you to dedicate time to speaking English, why not narrate your everyday life? As you walk to the shops, take the bus or train, go for a run or do any other activity. Try describing in English what you see around you. How many people are walking ahead of you? What different products are on sale in the shops? How many stops has your bus made on the way to its destination? What would advertising posters say if they were written in English? I always do it. Of course, you may not be comfortable speaking out loud when there are other people around. But even if you narrate your day silently, you'll be thinking in English. Seriously. And that's the main skill you need in order to speak fluently. Please, try that. Students always complain that they don't have opportunities to practice their English. Because they don't have a speaking partner or someone who speaks English. But they can practice on themselves in different ways. That's why we make this video. Also, you can play online games. Online gaming can help you improve your English. Games with online text and audio chat are great because they allow you to communicate with native English speakers. As you play, you'll also learn some really fun gaming slang along the way. Kids and teenagers learn a lot when they play online games. You should try it too. And it doesn't matter if you don't like the modern games, there are different types of games out there. Something that I really recommend is imitate what you hear on TV. It worked perfectly for me. Find some television shows or movies that you enjoy watching. A topic that interests you. Then, imitate the way the characters speak English. As you will come to learn, the tone affects the meaning. In English conversation, by paying attention to the character's tone and body language, you will have a better understanding of how to communicate in real life. It worked for me. Here, you can also choose the accent you want to have. American, British. Imitate the way they talk and the accent. It can be funny and it works very well. Believe me. Now, a great way to practice your English is speak in English to a virtual assistant. Set up any virtual assistant tools you use, such as Siri, Google, or Amazon Alexa to speak in English. Not only will the virtual assistant speak in English, but you must also speak English to get a response. Additionally, this is a great way to improve enunciation. Give it a try. I usually do this with my cell phone and my TV's remote control. When I search information, if I pronounce it well, then the virtual assistant will give me what I'm looking for. It's fantastic. And there are more ways to practice English, but we don't have time for more right now. That's okay. That information is very valuable. Thank you very much, teacher. And guys, if you want another video with ways to practice your English, please let us know.
Dear listeners, I hope you like this conversation. If you cool and improve your English a little more, please subscribe to the channel and share this video with friends. And if you want to support this channel, you can join us or click on the Super Think button. Thanks.
Good morning, teacher. Are you busy? I would like you to help me with something. Hello, Brian. Well, right now, I am waiting for my students. But I have some minutes. Excellent. I know that if I want to speak as a native English speaker, I have to practice a lot. But there is also something really important. I have to think in English, right? I mean, if I want to speak English fluently, I have to think only in English. Is that correct? Well, yeah. It is important to think in English to speak advanced English. Yeah, but that's the thing. Everyone says we have to think in English, but they don't say how to do it. That's why I need your help. I need you to tell me. How can I think in English, teacher? Oh, that's a very good question. And you're right. Teachers usually want you to think in English. But they never tell you how to do it. Alright, Brian. I will help you. First, be honest with yourself and answer the following question truthfully. Do you have to translate everything you hear or say in your head instead of processing it in English? Well, stop doing that. It's not effective for you. When you can think in English, you can process language more quickly and participate in conversations more easily. The first thing you have to do if you really want to start thinking in English is surround yourself with English. And it doesn't mean you have to live in an English-speaking country. Of course not. Although, if you can do it, then that's great. You can do it by giving yourself time every day, where you only hear and see English. You can start with 5 or 10 minutes every day, and then move up to 30 minutes, an hour or more, whatever you can manage. There are many activities you can do in order to surround yourself with English. For example, listen to music in English, watch videos in English, movies in English, podcasts. And you don't have to sit down to study these things. You can play a video while cooking or taking a shower. Also, you don't need to understand everything the video says. The important thing is to immerse yourself in the language. Surround yourself with English is something very important and students don't do it. I've had a lot of students who say they want to think in English, but they don't even have their cell phone set to English. As you do this, you can do any or some of the following. Passively listen. Repeat words you hear or see. Repeat phrases you hear or see. Passive listening takes away any stress and helps you absorb the language better. Repeating words and phrases gets you to activate new vocabulary so you can start using it fluently. By only seeing and hearing English, you start to move away from translation to thinking in English. Also, Learn vocabulary in phrases, not single words. It helps a lot. Our brains are pattern matching machines that remember things put into context. If you memorize phrases more than just words, you will be able to answer with some expression. Another thing that works really well is only use words you know. Also important. When speaking in English, sometimes students want to express an idea, but lack the vocabulary. So they go and look it up in a dictionary. This is one way to build vocabulary. But it doesn't build fluency. A great way to improve fluency and to start thinking in English is to only use words you know when speaking. Does it sound simple? Yes, it is simple. By not having to struggle with new words or looking for translations, you can focus just on fluency. Also, because you are using words you already know, you never need to translate. You just practice using the words you know in sentences and conversations. When you come across an idea you want to express, but you lack the words, you must find a way around it. Just using the words you know or give up the idea and say something else. This is crucial. I have seen many students wanting to express their ideas with advanced vocabulary. Vocabulary they don't know, but they still want to use. That makes the conversation less fluid. And do not misunderstand me. I am not telling you, don't learn advanced vocabulary. Of course not. In fact, we teach advanced words and phrases here in this channel. But if you already know the words to give your opinion, then just do it. Don't try to look for more complicated words. Another common technique to start thinking in English is to see an object and say the word to yourself in English. You see this picture above and you say to yourself the words that you see and know. For example, these are plants, green plants in a beautiful garden. I would like to have a garden like this. Again, don't start looking up new words, just say in your head the words you know. You can do this whenever you have a minute or two of dead time. For example, when you're in a waiting area, you're waiting for your lunch or maybe you're just relaxing on your couch. Instead of having a picture, you just look around yourself and say in your head what you see. And this is all about talking to yourself. Yeah, one of the most useful methods to think in English. Talk to yourself all the time. Whatever you're doing, say it out loud. If you can, of course. Such as saying, "That's a silly hat," when you see your neighbor in the street. When cooking, "I need 2 eggs, where are they?" "Here they are, now I put in some milk." When you're taking a shower, "The water is very cold. I wish this water was a little warmer." Whatever you want to say, just say it. The important is you do it every single day. And there are more things you can do to think in English, but my students are about to come. I really appreciate your help, teacher. I'll do what you told me to think in English. Great. And if you want more tips to think in English, like the video and comment. Have a nice day.
Dear listeners, I hope you like this conversation. If you cool and improve your English a little more, please subscribe to the channel and share this video with friends. And if you want to support this channel, you can join us or click on the Super Think button. Thanks.